Hey guys, Hamsterwheel Gaming here with a new video, and today I want to talk to you about the reasons you should try out WoW Vanilla. You see, private servers such as Crona and Nostalgias are offering you to experience World of Warcraft Vanilla once again, and they are getting more and more popular. There seems to be a lot of people considering joining these types of servers. I mean, you won't believe how often I get messages of people asking me if they should join a private server. Well, today I'm going to try to explain to you why you should try out WoW Vanilla. Let me start off with the most obvious one. It's free. That's right, all you have to do is download the client from whatever private server you want to start on, make your account, and start playing. No money spent on downloading the game and no monthly subscription. This means it's very easy for people to try out because hey, if you don't like it, no money wasted. The second reason why I think you should try out WoW Vanilla is to get a better perspective on what WoW was like when it first came out. This is mostly aimed at people who are playing on retail and are kind of curious on what WoW was like in the early stages. It happened to me when I was a teenager playing Warcraft 3. I enjoyed the game so much that people recommended me playing the first two games. Not just because the games were great, but also to get a better understanding of what happened before Warcraft 3 in terms of how the gameplay evolved, but also lore-wise. It was a huge eye-opener to me and I'm really glad I've played all of them. Same thing applies to WoW Retail and WoW Vanilla. Another thing I want to point out is that it might be really interesting to see how classes have changed over the years. With WoW Vanilla you can really see the origin of your favorite class, or just any class you're interested in learning. The third reason is another great reason to join, and that is the community. Basically there are no cross-realm private servers, so if you spend time leveling on, let's say, Kronos, you really get to know the other players that are on there. Not only in raids, but also in battlegrounds. That way you'll get to know the other players you're playing with much better, since you're much more often in the same battleground compared to cross-realm battlegrounds where you're basically grouped up with a bunch of strangers that don't really care about anyone since, well, they don't know anyone else in the group. Same with PvE. In retail you have the dungeon finder where all you have to do is queue and bam, you're inside the instance with 4 strangers ready to pull. Very convenient, but not great in terms of the social aspect of WoW. And let's face it, you're playing in an MMORPG to be able to play alongside other players. Preferably players you know. That's what's really great about WoW Vanilla. It might not be as convenient to spam in world chat that you're looking for 2 more DPS for lower Blackrock Spire. But that way you're much more inclined to actually talk to people. I'd also like to add that it seems that people on private servers are much more mature in terms of their behavior, skill, and mentality. Now obviously there's no evidence to back this up, and this is just my personal experience, but in my eyes it just seems that raids and dungeons tend to go much smoother, and a lot of people are actually open to constructive criticism and are willing to learn. The fourth reason is world PvP. That's right, if you're a fan of PvP and you would love to do that more in the open world than in the battleground, then look no further than a WoW Vanilla private server. PvPing at Tar Mill, Mercenaries Expedition, Gadget Sand, Eastern Plaguelands, you name it. There's a reason why these places are so memorable to people, and that is the epic PvP battles that broke out there. They obviously weren't 100% fair one-on-one fights, but needless to say, the experience was epic. And even today on servers like Crona or Nostalgias, there are epic world battles going on in various places, as I mentioned above. And as I said in point number 3, you'll get to know these people and they'll get to know you, because, trust me, leveling and doing some world PvP on the side with people you know and helping each other out is much more fun than to just zerk everything on your own with your character that's drowning in heirlooms. The fifth reason is 40-man raids. That's right, normally this would be a bit of a disaster, but as I said before, the overall attitude of players in PvE on private servers is great, so 40-man raids are actually a lot of fun. I have raided Molten Core, Blackmoon Lair, AQ40 and Nax 40 in WoW Vanilla back in retail, and I had a lot of fun raiding with 39 other people. I did Karazhan in Burning Crusades, which is a 10-man dungeon, and even though I love Karazhan, it wasn't nearly as epic as, let's say, Blackmoon Lair, because there were 4 times as less people there. And keep in mind, I was raiding back in 2005 with a computer that struggled to reach 30 FPS on medium settings. 40-man raiding today on a decent computer looks even more epic. Alright, and those are some of the reasons I can think of why you should try out a WoW Vanilla private server. Maybe I sparked your interest, and if I did, and here are some of my personal recommendations on private servers you can join. Number 1, Nostalria's WoW. It's 1x leveling rate, stable server, high population and a great community. It's also a fresh server with not many people completely dipped in epics, so you'll still have a chance to catch up to all the other people playing. Number 2, Crona's WoW. Pretty much the same story with Nostalria's. 1x leveling rate as well, and also a great community. And high population as well. The server is even newer than Nostalria, so once again there will be plenty of people still leveling in the low level zones, which means you'll never really level alone, and you always have other players around you, so that's great. My third recommendation is the Phoenix WoW Warsong server. I basically chose this server for people who just want to get to level 60 fast and experience endgame content. It has a 12x leveling rate, a good community, and most of the quests and spells are just working fine. The server has some occasional random disconnects, but those only take 3 minutes and it doesn't happen too often. The only problem here is that there aren't a lot of people playing on the server because it's been around for a long time. However, there's still enough people to do battlegrounds, and there's still several raiding guilds and pugs for you to join. So if you're just looking for a private server where you can level fast to level 60 and try out some endgame content, that's a good choice. There's plenty of more private servers, but these are the ones that I personally recommend because I either played on them or because of other people's feedback. I hope I was able to convince you to try out WoW Vanilla, because in my humble opinion, it's worth checking out at the very least. As always, I want to thank you for watching the video. I'm Hamsterwheel Gaming, and have a good one.